Cub Central family and friends, what's up? It's your boy Mike Jones. We got an episode coming to you where we will be talking about Japanese hitting sensation Kazuma Okamoto and if the Chicago Cubs should potentially go after this strong hitter that plays not only first base but third base also. You know my thoughts already. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Chicago Cubs Central. This is your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs, and I am your host. Happy to be here once again, Mike Jones. Thank you so much. If this is your first time tuning in to one of our episodes, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you are a repeat visitor, thank you so much again for making this your spot for Chicago Cubs news, conversation as well. I got a good one for you today, I believe. We're going to have a good time talking about it. I'm enjoying talking about it. I've been doing my research, so I want you guys input in on what your thoughts are on Kazuma Okamoto. I'm going to get that right eventually. I'm going to say it right. But Okamoto is a player that plays over in Japan for the Yomiuri Giants, and he's currently slashing 327 batting average, 416 OBP, and 598 slugging percentage. And this is the kind of performance that reinforces his power hitting credentials, making him a serious international target. So we don't know for sure right now if Okamoto is going to be posted for MLB clubs this offseason, but the hope is that he should. But the hope is that he will be posted. Already, I'm gonna let you guys know off jump. Scott Boras is his agent, so there's that right there. So just letting you guys know off jump. But at the same time, the Chicago Cubs do offer familiarity to Okamoto. There are, like I said, we have good relationship with our Japanese players. And again, I think that we are a good landing spot, or do have an opportunity to be a great landing spot for him, with the likes of Seiya Suzuki and Shota Imanaga already being key parts of what the Chicago Cubs are doing. Now, with that being said, we do have to ask ourselves, what exactly can the Chicago Cubs offer him? We know what he brings to the table with that batting average, with the power that he brings. And this is something that the Chicago Cubs have desperately needed now for some time. He brings the power. He also has pretty steady defense. Again, he can play first and he can play third base. So you love that he could tackle each hot corner also. So you could look at maneuvering and switching him and Michael Busch depending on who's more comfortable in what spot. But thanks to the latest rules around the Japanese posting system, any MLB club signing a posted NPB player must pay a release fee and then negotiate the player's contract. So the posting fee is calculated as 20% of the first 25 million plus 17.5% of the next 25 million plus 15% of any amount over $50 million. So if the Cubs offered Okamoto, say, a 4 to 8 year deal worth 60 to 80 million guaranteed, the posting fee alone could be 6 to 8 million plus the salary. So like I said, you also see the Chicago Cubs get very creative with their contracts and their deals with Japanese players. And I do think that they would do the same with Okamoto. I think that they would look at him, evaluate him and his talent, and they would also evaluate if his hitting power can translate to Wrigley Field. Again, my only issue with going after somebody like Okamoto is that you then have to turn around and wait for his adjustment period. So I want you guys to remember what it was like when Seiya Suzuki first came over to Chicago. Like, we heard about this magnificent hitting power. We heard about all that he could do for the club and how he was going to, be able to mash. Guys, you got to remember, we just now this year saw a, a, a great hitting version of Seiya Suzuki 3 years later. So again, the thought process behind Okamoto is, like I said, is it may not come immediately. And I know for Cub fans, that's going to get very, very interesting. And they're going to get very, very upset about that, especially if, let's say, we do end up signing Okamoto and we end up trading Matt Shaw. People are going to get upset because they're like, man, Matt Shaw's raking, or Matt Shaw's doing this, blase, 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 and Okamoto is struggling. Well, again, what we're looking at here is the opportunity for him to bring some power to the team, which, like I said, Matt Shaw struggled for a majority of the season to bring power to the team. He had to be sent down and he had to be sent back down to AAA multiple times just because he was unable to bring what we needed scoring wise, hitting wise to this team. His defense has been amazing. Let's call it what it is. Defense at third base was amazing. Pretty much every time he took third base. Very rarely did he make any mistakes over there. But we needed more power. We needed more from him on the offensive side. And I mean, still he was unable to do that for us. He was unable to give that to us. I mean, he basically went through 2 series without ever notching up a hit. I mean, towards the end there, he got a couple against the Brewers after Justin Turner said something to him, whispered some pixie dust onto his bat or something. But again, he struggled. So I look at Matt Shaw, and there was a lot of teams that wanted Matt Shaw, in at the deadline and at the beginning of the season. So if the Chicago Cubs get serious about maybe potentially grabbing Okamoto, then that makes Matt Shaw expendable, because you have somebody that plays first base and third base. You have somebody that, that you can put at first base and then move Michael Busch to third. You can play him at third, and let's say you get a Pete Alonso that can DH and play first, and then you also have Michael Busch playing first. I mean, there's a multitude of opportunities and options, and the more opportunities and options that you give Craig Counsell, the better. And I think we've seen this from our club. Like, Okamoto is one of those guys that can really, really, really come, I believe, and help the Chicago Cubs team do what they need to do, which is score more runs, avoid the lulls. You don't want to keep having these lulls where, the team is struggling to score. I mean, I understand that there will be sometimes scoring droughts, but the more hitters you get on this team, the more likely they are to hit themselves out of, whatever struggles they're in, and they're not all going to struggle at the same time. So you may have, say, Suzuki struggle for a couple of weeks, but then you may have somebody like Okamoto come through and be able to provide hitting power in say Suzuki's absence, and vice versa. And then, like I said, you also have PCA, you also have, Nico Horner, you also have Ian Happ, who's probably going to be on the team again. You have so many other pieces, like I said, you can position around and have guys be in position to be successful. When some guys are up, others will be down, and when others are down, others will be up, and that's baseball. That's why you pad your team with as much offense as possible, because these droughts, as we've seen, do happen. So, like I said, the Chicago Cubs do have an opportunity here to make a move and add a piece that could be very, very beneficial to them. Will they do it? I think it first depends on if the Yomiuri Giants are going to actually post Okamoto. There have been rumblings that he won't get posted this season, which sucks because the kid is 29. He'll be 30, and you don't want to do that to him, but I also understand they will have to keep some of their stars to keep their league going also. But I mean, like I said, if they post him, the Chicago Cubs should absolutely take a look at him, do an interview, and see what's there to it, and see if he has a willingness to want to come play for the Chicago Cubs, and see if they can get a good deal done with Scott Boras. But let me know you guys' thoughts. Do you guys think that Yoki Okamoto is somebody the Chicago Cubs should look at? Is that somebody that you guys want on the club? I think he'll bring a lot to the table. I think it also, eases your thoughts about Matt Shaw and whether or not you want to keep Matt Shaw or not. And this guy also offers, power hitting. on the major league level. He is major league ready. So again, we'll just have to see what happens. But that's our time for today. Listen, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure that you guys like, share, and subscribe. And also leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on Okamoto. Do you want to see him in Cubby Blue next season? I appreciate you guys. Until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.